Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Bundesliga Career Mode. This is the 17th episode of this series. It's also the final episode of this season as well. Yes, can you believe it? 17 episodes in, and we are already completing Season 1 in this series. And I want to say a massive thank you for watching the first season, guys. I really hope you have enjoyed it. Obviously, this Career Mode is a little bit different to the usual ones I've ran. There's been some different things going on in this series, such as me showing some comments from time to time, the speech bubbles as well. The background music too. I made a lot of changes for this series and it was all based on your feedback. Don't forget, I let you guys customize this career mode exactly how you wanted it, including live commentaries and not chipping penalties and so on and so forth. And I really feel as though the changes that you guys asked me to make have made this series really fun in the first season. You guys had some great suggestions and you chose the options that I gave you, really, and I think you made some great choices. This has been a great first season. I've enjoyed all 17 of these episodes, making all of them for you, and I really hope you guys have enjoyed them as well. But either way, coming to the first game of today's episode here, this being the final episode of the season, you're seeing the final 4 games in today's episode here of the Bundesliga season. And as you can see, for the first game of today's episode, taking on Werder Bremen here at the Volkspark Stadion, coming on the back of that fantastic 3-0 victory against Borussia Dortmund in the last game, in the last episode. Right now, destiny is in our own hands. We win our final 4 league games, we will be guaranteed a place in next year's Champions League, finishing in the top 4. What a great start to this game as well, opening the scoring through Leroy Sané, who right now is in rich goal scoring form. Another goal for Sané right now in red hot form for us as he made it 1-0. We looked a better side in the first half as well, but in the second half, 7 minutes after the restart, a great chance for Werder Bremen to equalise here. They got themselves inside, they broke past our back line, but Cesar Valente bails us out with a massive one-on-one save and kept it at 1-0. And just a couple minutes after that, we won the ball here, gave it to Masuaku, our French left-back, just over the halfway line. He finds Lewis Holtby, holds the ball up, plays it through the gap towards Julian Brandt, who nutmegs Yannick Vestergaard and finds the back of the net as well. And for Julian Brandt, I just mentioned Leroy Sané in good form right now in front of goal. Julian Brandt has been in good form in front of goal ever since we bought him in January. That's now his 3rd goal in 2 games. He scored a brace against Borussia Dortmund away from home, and now scores here for his 3rd in 2. And this was a great goal as well. I didn't notice it at first on the first replay, but you'll see on the instant replay, he received the ball from Lewis Holtby's pass and he nutmegged Yannick the Giant Vestergaard. Anyone remember him from my West Bromwich Albion days? He nutmegged the giant centre-back, beat him, and then just sort of shrugged him out of the way, went through one-on-one, opened up his body, and finessed the ball past the goalkeeper with the left foot to make it 2-0. So Julian Brandt right there, absolutely fantastic goal, and he has been great for us ever since we signed him. I mean, seriously, we brought him in January, and I said this in the last episode, so many of you guys were curious as to why I decided to buy him. We didn't exactly need him per se, but I thought I'll give him a go. I was thinking about buying him in the summer, instead went for Sané. I thought I'd buy Brandt, play him in a cam role, and what a decision that has proved to be, because he's been fantastic for us and one of our best buys of the season. But it was how the game would finish though. Hamburg 2, Werder Bremen 0. Luan almost made it 3-0 late on, but unfortunately got 2 bites of the cherry, but couldn't convert on either occasion. So final score 2-0, another win notched up for Hamburg, and we're now with just 3 games to go in the Bundesliga season. It is looking very likely we will be able to qualify for the Champions League. We saw the news article after the game. Euro League is now certain for us, so no matter what happens going into the final 3 games, we will guarantee to have some European football next season, even if it is Europa League. But of course, we know we'll be doing everything we can to hold on to 3rd place right now. We're technically not out of the title race, which is pretty crazy, but of course, you guys know we're not in it. You know, we're not in it. Mathematically, yes, we're in it, but we're not in it. We're never in the title race in the first season. Now, I've only had that once before in one of my saves, and that was last year with Torino. I was in a title race in the first season. It went down to the final day. Couldn't do it. I don't know how many of you guys watched that series, but we couldn't do it. We were very close. But this season, we've never really been in the title race. Even though mathematically, as you can see, we still could technically win it. We're not in it, so don't worry about it. But still, for the 2nd of 4 games in today's episode here, we will travel away from home to take on FSV Mainz. And of course, right now, destiny is indeed in our own hands. If we win just 2 of the remaining 3 games, we will guarantee a place in the top 4, because Schalke and Bayer Leverkusen just played in the last game, which was our win against Werder Bremen. They played at the same time as us. They won the game, Schalke, against Bayer Leverkusen, beat them by 2-1. So because of that, just 2 wins from our final 3 games will see us guarantee a place in the top 4 come the end of the season, regardless of what those 2 teams do in the final 3 games. But taking on Mainz here away from home. Of course, our last away game was that sublime sublime 3-0 victory against Borussia Dortmund. But we got to a bad start in this game, trailing already. But, you know, sometimes when I can see goals, I do get some comments saying, oh man, your defending is so poor. But there's no way I'm defending this one. And my absolutely unbelievable goal from FSV Mainz's number 10. He lets fly from about 25 yards out, and it beats Hoffmann, and it also beats Cesar Valente. And our goalkeeper, who was on a consecutive run of 3 clean sheets, has his clean sheet broken in just 14 minutes here, and he had absolutely no chance with it. An unbelievable goal by Yunus Mali, and it is 1-0 to FSV Mainz. So no chance for Valente, and it is 1-0 to the home side. In the 33rd minute, they almost made it 2-0. Great save by Valente, though, that kept us in the game, still at 1-0. In the 40th minute, we had our first chance of the game here. Julian Brandt skips past the challenge, takes around another player, feeds it inside towards Dermich here, takes it around his man, plays it back towards Julian Brandt, who goes for goal. It's a good save by the young goalkeeper Karius though, and eventually Mainz scrambled the ball away as Masuaku couldn't get anything to come from this chance. Once the rebound fell to him, so at half time, as you can see, it was Mainz 1, Hamburg 0. Apparently there'd only been 2 shots in the entire first half, and 1 for both sides and 1 on target for both sides, but that was absolutely rubbish. The first half had a lot more chances than that, and you saw 3 of them in that first half alone. But either way, it was 1-0 going into the break, and 2 minutes after the restart, I was worried of a potential break. Leroy Sané hit the deck, and unfortunately had to be forced off moments afterwards. And for Sané, he's picked up 1 injury this season away against Bayer Leverkusen. That was only a 5-day injury. This one looked a little bit more serious though. Instead of being able to run it off for a bit and then come off later at my discretion, he was forced off the pitch. Muller came on, and I'm very, very worried about that as the season comes to its close. We were still trailing the game by a goal to nil though, desperate to get back into it, and with 20 minutes to go, it was still 1-0 to the home side. We weren't doing enough in the second half, but we won ourselves a corner here. Lewis Holtby seemed to stand over this, taking ages analysing where he wanted to put the ball into the box here, but he swung it into the centre, looks for Hoffmann, and for Andre Hoffmann, well, what a signing this guy's been. I talked about Julian Brandt earlier, but this guy, in my opinion, has to go down as one of the best buys of the year. He came in for just a few £1 million. It's now his 2nd goal of the season, and he has been a rock at the back and has now scored 2 goals for us in his debut year as well. Both goals seemingly very important as well. His first one won us a game late on, just before we were going into stoppage time a few weeks ago, and this goal puts us back on level terms with just 18 minutes to go even. Really good header from the corner, and it makes it Mainz 1, Hamburg 1. But I almost threw away the equalising goal just a few minutes later. I tried to pass out from the goal kick as per usual with Valente. I didn't see the Mainz player creep towards the fullback. They won the ball back and went for goal. But fortunately, Valente bailed me out there and made a sublime save. So still 1-1, and I would have been livid had we lost our equaliser through that silly mistake from me. But unfortunately for us, with 5.5 minutes to go, in the end we would lose our draw in this game. We would lose our credible point, as Mainz would nick all 3 with the 5.5 minutes to go. And there was no blame attached to me for this goal. This was just a fantastic through ball and a brilliant finish here. Mainz worked their way inside here, exploiting the gap through the middle. Lovely first touch. Great second touch, and a brilliant through ball to pick out Muto running forward, who rifles the ball past Valente, who had no chance for either goal. And unfortunately for us, the number 9 rifles it in and makes sure that Mainz do indeed win the game. So final score, Mainz 2, Hamburg 1. It was a really, really good game, very action-packed. As you can see right here, I thought it was quite a balanced game, to be honest. Mainz have a lot more possession. They probably did just about deserve to edge the game, but it was a really close one, and in the end they were very, very, very good when going forward. They looked threatening every single time they came into our half, really, and it wasn't for a great couple of saves by Valente, they would have won the game by 2 or 3 goals. But even they won the game by 2 goals to 1. Sad about that, but even more sad about the fact that Leroy Sané has sprained his ankle and will be out for the rest of the season. So a 4-week injury for Leroy Sané. I said it might have been a break, and I thought it was going to be a broken ankle, because for me, whenever a player goes down and gets forced off instantly, I'd say, you know, 3 times out of 5, it probably is a break, like a broken ankle or a broken knee. So a sprained ankle is not a bad injury for us, but he will miss the rest of the season, which is a bit of a shame. It's good to know that he won't miss next season, and he'll be back in time for pre-season next year. He may even be back for the final game if he's lucky, but it's still a bit of a shame knowing he's got that injury, as he will most likely miss the final games in the season. But either way, coming to our 3rd of the 4 games today, we will take on Wolfsburg here back at the Volkspark Stadion. So glad to be back in front of our own fans. As I always say, our away form this year has been absolutely atrocious, but coming into this game here, as you can see by the league table, if results went our way in the other games and we won this game, we would be guaranteed a top top 4 place come the end of 90 minutes. So with a game to spare, we could guarantee Champions League qualification going into the final game if results go our way and we get the 3 points in this game. So coming to this one on the back of that 2-1 defeat to Mainz, our first defeat in 5, I was desperate to return to winning ways. I was desperate to get the job done with a game to spare. So right from the first minute, my mind was in attack mode. Don't just sit there and wait for opportunities to come to us. Go out there and claim the opportunities and hopefully get some goals on the board as well. Dermot hit the post twice in the space of about 2 seconds there, which really frustrated me. But the start we'd had to this game was phenomenal. We were putting Wolfsburg under immense pressure right from the beginning. We were looking so strong. Beneglio made a couple of great saves early on as well. That one denying Masuaku and keeping it at 0-0. But in the first 11 minutes though, we were bombarding Wolfsburg's goal with shots on target and just off target as well. This one by Dermot going just over the bar and looking really threatening early on. But Wolfsburg almost surprisingly took the lead here in the 21st minute. Valente made a great save from his shot though and then pounced on the rebound as well. So it was still 0-0. Just past half an hour mark though, Masuaku receives the ball and finds Luan here, who roulettes round one. Ball rolls around another. Heel to heel flicks around a third player, Naldo as well, and goes through the shoot. But unfortunately can't complete a fantastic solo run as he blazes his shot just wide at the post and behind for a goal kick. He's been great for us this season though, since coming in on deadline there. Very smart pickup. But it was still 0-0, and 4 minutes ago before the break here, we were still deadlocked at 0-0. But as Werner got on the ball, he found Dermot inside the area with a drill cross. But once again, Beneglio was on hand to make another great save and keep it at 0-0. And the final chance to half fell here in stoppage time. We won ourselves a free kick. It's been a long time since Cesar Valente's taken a free kick. I barely get them in this series for some reason. I don't know why, but I haven't had many free kicks this year. Hopefully that'll change next year. But either way, Valente was stood over this free kick. His free kick rating has got better as the weeks have gone by, and I'll continue the training on him. But he was a long way out for this one. He was about 35 yards out. But I was thinking maybe this could be the moment where Cesar Valente could get his first goal from a free kick. He drills it with the L1 and circle button, and Beneglio turns it onto the post, and Wolfsburg then get the ball away. So at half time, it was still 0-0, and I was literally ready to throw my controller at the wall because I've been so unlucky in the first half. We hit the post on 3 separate occasions, twice through Dermot and one through Cesar Valente from a free kick as well. But we just couldn't find the opening goal of the game that could potentially do it for us. In the second half, even more frustration because 30 minutes after the restart, Yannick Gerhardt is going to join Leroy Sani and Spahic in the treatment room. He gets an injury and he himself will also miss the rest of the season. So I was thinking to myself, this game is just not going my way. We have been a far better side. We have been so much stronger than Wolfsburg. We have been attacking them from the off, so many attempts on target, still no goals though, still goalless in this game. And now Yannick Gerhardt, one of our most underrated players this season, has now got an injury or missed the rest of the season too as Tolisso comes on. This is not going to be my day, and I can see the season capitulating come the end of the game as well, and we'll probably end up being outside the top 4 come the end of 34 games. But thankfully for us, just past the hour mark, we would finally take the lead after Tolisso, who came off the bench for the injured Gerhardt, played a great through ball into Lewis Holtby, and Mr. Reliable, who's been great all season long for us, gets onto the ball, takes it around the last Wolfsburg man who slid in unnecessarily, and rifles the ball in at the near post to beat the Swiss goalkeeper Beneglio and make it 1-0 to Hamburg, and it was how the game would finish as well. Final score at the Volkspark Stadion, 1-0 to Hamburg, and honestly, I'm a little bit disappointed. We only won it by a goal to 0. We were so much better than Wolfsburg. We deserved to win it by 3 or 4 goals really, but in the end, the most important thing was the 3 points, and you know we only scored 1 goal, we do get the victory. So final score 1-0, delighted with that. And following the game, as you could see, we looked at the latest scores here. Bayer Leverkusen were held to a 2-2 draw by Borussia Mönchengladbach. So because of that, we have now qualified for the Champions League. So I said we could do it with a game to spare if results went our way, and we won that game. For a long time, it was looking like we wouldn't win that game because of how much pressure we put on Wolfsburg, but they were withstanding every single shot. But instead, we do get the win. Borussia Mönchengladbach do us a solid. Thanks, lads, as they draw with Bayer Leverkusen, and that does mean that we have indeed qualified for a Champions League place. And I'll be honest here, I'm showing you the Deutsche Pokal standings right here, the tournament tree, because I said when we were knocked out by Bayern Munich, this could be a blessing in disguise for us. And the reason being is quite simple. We don't have a fixed squad. the players' stamina isn't bad, but players do get fatigued and tired very quickly in career mode. I'm sure you guys know that for sure. It's very hard to keep players fit for midweek games, cup games, and also all the games on a weekend as well. So because of that, I said going out to Deutsche Parkau could be a blessing in disguise for us, because we will only be concentrating on one competition. Schalke were also knocked out in the round of 32 stage as well, just like us, and both sides are going to qualify for the Champions League next season in 3rd and 4th place. Bayer Leverkusen went all the way to the semi-finals before being knocked out by FC Köln, and I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, maybe that is the telling sign. Going out of the cup competition early has benefited both us and Schalke, because we've only had this to worry about, and that's what's helped us keep the players fit, or fit enough really, and make sure that we can go ahead and claim a Champions League place for next season. So absolutely delighted about that. I really am pleased, and had you told me that we'd be qualifying for the Champions League next season, I would have said, yeah, sure, it's a possibility. I mean, I feel like I'm a relatively good FIFA player, and our side isn't that bad, but I don't really see it happening. I'd say Europa League is the best we could do, but instead, we have indeed guaranteed a place in the Champions League next season, and I am just so happy about that as well. And this save, it really does remind me of the Hertha Berlin save 2 years ago. There's just so many similarities, really. There really are. The team is obviously the German side in the Bundesliga, my last Bundesliga career mode. So much young German talent coming through. In that save, we also finished in the Champions League place in the first season. Lots of similarities. It feels like a throwback, this series, and I'm really enjoying it. But either way, the final game was against Wolfsburg, and although we'd already qualified for the Champions League next season, 3rd and 4th place could still be changed on the final day depending on what Schalke did. If we won the game, we'd guarantee 3rd spot, but instead we lost the game by a goal to nil. So another defeat on the road means we've lost more than half our away games this season. That is really embarrassing, isn't it? But either way, we lost the game by a goal to nil, failed to register a single shot on target, and because of that, the ramifications mean that Schalke, after beating Hoffenheim, have leapfrogged us, gone up to 3rd place, and they finished in that 3rd place come the end of the season. And you may think, so what, you both qualified for the Champions League? But it does mean that we'll have to play a qualifier next season to reach the group stages. So a little bit annoyed about that. Schalke goes straight into the group stages. We'll have to play a qualifier to get there. But either way, Bayern 1st, Dortmund 2nd, Schalke 3rd, Hamburg 4th. And remember when I asked you guys to predict how the league table would finish? How would you order the top 4 come the end of the season? What do you think it's going to look like? I think it's going to be Bayern Munich 1st, Borussia Dortmund 2nd, 3rd place Schalke, and I'm going to stick my neck out and say Hamburg will pit Bayer Leverkusen to the 4th place come the end of the season. Well, yeah, it turns out I actually got something right. Believe it or not, I can sometimes predict things correctly. So in the end, it does finish that way. Bayern Munich win the title, Borussia Dortmund finishing runners-up, Schalke in 3rd, and of course Hamburg in 4th with Bayer Leverkusen finishing in 5th place. You saw the goalkeeper of the tournament, Modeste won the Golden Boot as well. The team of the season too, Hoffmann got into that and thoroughly deserved as well. Great season from our new centre-back, and Cesar Valente won player of the competition. Now I know you're probably sitting there thinking, how? Well, it seems to happen in every single career mode I do. The goalkeeper I have always seems to win player of the year. Why? Not entirely sure. I'm not saying Valente had a bad season. He didn't. He was absolutely fantastic as a now 18-year-old goalkeeper. Was signed as a 17-year-old, now 18 years old, growing up already. So he had a great season, but I'm still not sure how he deserved to win player of the year. But either way, he didn't even get to team of the year or get the most clean sheets in the year. So how he was player of the year, not entirely sure. But to be fair, as a 17 and now 18-year-old goalkeeper, to hold his own like he did, that does deserve some praise. But still, following that, as you can see, look at the top scorer, assist charts and whatnot. Also as well, the Deutsche Pokal was won by FC Köln in the end. They beat Bayern Munich on penalties in the final, which is pretty interesting. We received just over £7 million for tournament prize money for our progress in the first season, finishing in 4th place, and I decided to spend £2.3 million on that instantly on a youth scout. Yes, I'm sure so many of you out there are fist pumping right now, because yes, youth scouting, it's something which I don't do enough of, really. I do like youth scouting, I really do. It's just that for me, I've never really had as much success with it as back in the days of FIFA 13 and FIFA 14 as well, really. Ever since then, it's become harder and harder for me to pick up youth talents that tend to do quite well. So it's difficult for me to really, make the most out of youth academy like I used to be able to back in the good old days, if you will. But I've bought a youth scout. He's got 5-star judgment and 4-star experience, and I've sent him out to Germany on a 9-month mission. Hopefully hopefully he'll pick us up some decent youth prospects. I'm not going to get my hopes up too high, but I am pretty hopeful that he will pick us up at least 1 or 2 players that could be at least, if nothing else, squad players for us in years to come. I mean, it's, as I said before, it's very, very hard for me to find good youth players nowadays. It seems as though it's got harder and harder as the years have gone by, but I'm hopeful. I'm not too optimistic, but I'm hopeful, and I'm crossing my fingers, and hopefully he will prove to be worth the money. But to end the season off here, as you can see, I got offered another manager's job, and this one was with Borussia Mönchengladbach. They said, why don't you come to Borussia Park and manage me? But I was like, mate, MGH has just taken that job. I can't do that. So I'm staying with Hamburg. We're staying here at the Volkspark Stadion, and after a successful season, finishing in 4th place, qualifying for the Champions League next year, I'd be daft to jump ship now. So to end the season, as you can see, we have a squad report right here. You can see the attributes and the stats of the players as well, how the players progressed in terms of their development, in terms of attributes, and also how they did on the pitch for us as well. I must admit I'm a little disappointed about some of the players' lack of growth. Leroy Sané only got up 1 rating this year is probably my most annoying problem I have with this year's sort of squad report, if you will. Sané was great for us all year long, and particularly late season. He came in some great form. He had to overcome 2 separate injuries. He played so well for us, Sané, and I'm just disappointed he only went up by 1 rating. Same goes for Timo Werner, but I think about it, Werner went up by 2, didn't he? Actually, yeah, he went up by 2, so that's not too bad, but Sané only going up by 1 is very frustrating. But for Dermich as well, he was our top scorer this season with 8 goals, and I know he had an injury to overcome, but he was our top scorer, and I know Julian Brandt scored 9 goals, but 2 of those came for Bayer Leverkusen, so 7 for us. Dermich being our top scorer, you'd expect him to have grown at least 1 rating this year, but you saw his stats and his attributes, like he hasn't grown at all, and it leads me to believe he's probably a glitch player, and that's a shame as well, because I'd like to buy him back next year, if nothing else, to be a bench striker and then buy maybe another first team player. But he was good for us this year, despite the injury, and it's very upsetting to know he didn't grow a single rating, but what can you do? Either way, some of the players did quite well, as you can see right here, but, there were some players which really frustrated me this year with their lack of growth. But either way, that was the attributes of the players. These are the stats here as well, as you can see how the players currently got on the pitch during this past season. I must admit, some players really did impress me this year with their stats, did very, very well. Lewis Holtby, for example, very, very good. Timo Werner, 2 goals and 5 assists. Dermich, 8 goals, 3 assists as well. Obviously, Sané picking up goals and assists himself. Yannick Gerhardt got a few as well. I think Yannick Gerhardt as well, probably one of the most underrated players this season. And when you consider this season as well, I must admit, I really feel as though I got so many key decisions right. I really do. There were so many things which I did this year, which some of you guys were quite surprised about. And of course, the main one was Adler getting sold in January. I sold Rene Adler, our best player, to Chelsea, and some of the comments from you guys were saying, oh, I wouldn't have done that, I'm not too sure about that deal, you're going to regret it, Adler's your best player, and Cesar Valente may not be able to live up to the hype, but Cesar Valente this season was absolutely fantastic for us. He really was. He's progressed so well, up to a 75 overall now. Of course, I know it's all through the training, but he's still gone ahead and been a fantastic goalkeeper for us on the pitch as well. Better than his rating suggests, I would say. Right now, he feels like an 80 plus rated goalkeeper, to be honest, already just 18 years old. He's been fantastic, and of course, selling Rene Adler raised us the money to buy Julian Brandt, who since coming in January has probably been our best player since January. So because of that was such a key decision, selling Adler, putting all my faith in Valente, and also buying Julian Brandt, a player who some of you guys thought was unnecessary. What a decision that proved to be. And for this year, we did so many things, but I think I called a lot of them right. And of course, finishing in 4th place demonstrates just how good we were this season. So I'm absolutely delighted with this season. If I was to rate it out of 10, I'd give it a 9 without doubt. It's hard to give a perfect 10 for a season unless you really have turned it on, but I'd give it a 9 out of 10. I mean, Champions League football, finishing in 4th place. We'll have to play the qualifier next season, yes, but I'm confident we'll get through it. We were fantastic. We're able to bring in so many great young German talents. We've got a fun side we're building here with Hamburg. The future is very, very, very bright at Volkspark Stadion with so much awesome young talent, not just from Germany, but from other countries as well. And I'm really excited for the 2nd season. You'll see that tomorrow morning. It starts tomorrow morning. There's no goal of the season in this series. Just go straight into the new season in the next episode. So that'll be coming out tomorrow morning, and we'll get straight to work buying some new players with Hamburg. It'll be a transfer special as we begin to make this side even stronger for the future. But that is going to end today's episode of the Bundesliga Career Mode, guys. So a big thank you for watching the video. Really hope you have enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed the double upload day, then please do consider leaving a like. So of course much appreciated, and it really helps the channel grow as well. Of course, you don't have to leave a like if you don't want to. Much love to you all, and I'll see you for the start of the new season, the 2nd one in this Bundesliga Career Mode tomorrow morning.